All right, Shalom, Mike. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I'd like to say Shalom to the elect that's teaching His word in all truth, faith, and sincerity. And today, I just want to get into a lesson, concerning Esau. Especially chiefly those tiny hats. Really, these devils as a whole, the Edomites, are being hated, man, because the light is on them. It's not around them what's taking place, on the planet Earth. Everything that's happening is going to contribute to this man being violently uprooted. That's why you have World War III. That's the tool the Lord have chosen to get rid of the so-called white man. And we seeing that this nigga is that the beginning stages of him being blotted out the earth, from his influence. These nations don't respect him as they once did. But you see that hatred for E is becoming more prevalent and blatant. And even with these tiny hats. So this is why I got an article. And it says, new report finds online Jew hatred rising, urges stronger reporting and transparency. As online hatred, harassment, and vitriol become an increasing persuasive part of the Jewish experience, we need scalable, effective solutions. And those solutions, ultimately, these niggas want to lock you up. There's plenty of, these tiny tots speaking on, you want to say something about that anti-Sam? Lock them up for a year and see that they, and really it's the hatred of Esau, the so-called white man as a whole. From the tiny hats to these damn Americans. The hatred is on all of them. As you can see, because the tiny hats, they are the leaders of the Edomites. They are the head, in a sense. Just like Judah, the head, they the face. So when motherfuckers say nigga, you think of a black guy. In a sense, that's really concerning all the tribes. So now it's happening on Esau, man. So matter of fact, let's get some. Let's start off with this in the book of Job 9 and 24. It said the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. If not, it's like, I'm gonna read it again. It said the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So that's we see that this devil, he actually runs the world. And now you even seeing it more blatant how you have the tiny tops telling Babylon what to do. So it shows you these presidents and prime ministers, they answering to someone else. But it all goes back to these bankers and these elites, which are all Edomites. From the tribe of Amalek. These leaders. But it said the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. And you see the results of this man and him being empowered, his influence. Wickedness is abroad. Jake fucking got blackballed from the NBA because he said he don't support faggots. And the scriptures say you don't supposed to do. Yet, a nigga, the president would swear on the Bible. At the same time, yet it passes an LGBTQ law the same day, man. And he'll go to your country and take your resources and cut you off if you don't support that shit, man. So of course this nigga fingerprints is everywhere. You got a McDonald's in Egypt. You know, it says he covered the faces of the judge thereof. If not, where and who is he? See? So if not the so-called white man that's the problem in the planet Earth, you can't say it's a fucking Arab. You know, they like to set them forth as present them as primitive, and so how could they the ones that be can really shake some shit up? It's these devils, man. And everybody now figuring that out since the light is shining. The scope is on this devil, man. When you got the internet, these devils are hypocrites. They say one thing, and then 2 years later, you see there was a totally opposite agenda, man. So the light is on. They're being exposed. You can't do nothing but to point the nigga out now. Matter of fact, what's that in? I think that's I think it's Wisdom of Solomon. Right. Wisdom of Solomon 1, I started verse 7. It says, for the Spirit of the Lord filleth the world, and that which containeth all things have knowledge of the voice. Therefore, he that speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid. See? So it said, he that speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid from this man, his laws and legislations, the rhetoric. What else? You can't do nothing but spot it out, man. You got a white tee on, and it's a stain. You can't ignore the stain, man. So the wickedness, the shit you see, the problems, the stench in the planet Earth is the so-called white man, and it's now being revealed. And that's why you have that hate for the tiny hat. It has increased, cause like that's that smell, you know. You gonna hastily get that out the way, man. So this is really Esau and having that light being put on him, being exposed. This is that beginning stage of him being going into perdition. Scripture talk about that in that 2 Thessalonians. The Lord shall reveal him with the spirit of his mouth, and then shall destroy him with the brightness of his coming. That's the order. So this nigga is now, he's being identified and put on all these charges and being found guilty. So wasn't that step the destruction? That's why ultimately World War III is going to happen. And the results is the so-called white man, Esau Edom, he will never be in power again. The whole landmass of America will be destroyed, as well as the land of Israel. But the thing is, Israel will be rebuilt. America will stay a desert. So continue on. Continue on. It says, I'm going to read it again. It says, therefore he that speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid, neither shall vengeance when it punisheth pass by him. And that vengeance that's going to punish is going to be in the form of those missiles. And it ain't going to pass by. It's going to actually hit his target. It's going to jump over these other countries. The missile ain't going to go to France. It ain't going to go to... It's going to America. It's going to... Talking about how they shall leap over mountains. You read Joel, the 2nd chapter. So it's not... Them missiles ain't going to fly over America. No, that's where they coming. It says, for inquisition shall be made into the counsels of the ungodly, and the sound of his word shall come into the word of the Lord, unto the Lord, for the manifestation of his wicked deeds. See? So you seeing this devil, he's being heavily scrutinized, because that's what that inquisition going to, that prolonged investigation. All them problems in the earth, this shit go back to Esau, man. You dealing with trash islands. Yeah, it might have some fucking Moabite writing, but it's a plastic cup. Now you gotta see who's the source of that creation. And who gave them the bright idea to throw that shit in the water, man? Knowing that shit couldn't break down. So it just show you that all the problems go back to this nigga, man. Esau Edom, the so-called white man, and then you got the tiny head, cause this nigga he can put the money up. That's the type of nigga he is. He can put the money up, and he'll use Babylon for muscle, you know. But just seeing this, this man being exposing that hatred that everyone is showing him, cause it's clips out there of. You had the tiny hats that went to other countries because of the situation that's going on. And the locals in these other countries, they're totally rejecting the tiny hats, man. Surrounding the hotel, telling them to get the fuck on, beating them, man. Because they recognize that stench. That stench has been found out. What's that? This all part of the downfall. The Lord exposing this man. Jeremiah 49, and verse 10, it says, "But I have made Esau barren. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself." So this man is being exposed on from his agenda. You got the Greater Israel Project. That. We see what these devils are doing. They had giving you reasons why they over there. But it's for those tiny hats. This nigga trying to set forth this system, this digital system, this beast system, to have you on perpetual captivity. So this man, his agenda, his intents, all of those things are being exposed by the word, man. But this is contribute to his downfall when you jump up to verse 7 concerning Edom, man. This is concerning his judgments. So him being exposed, that's it, man. It can only go down for that nigga, man. It says his seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. And it said his seed is spoiled. That's really talking about now, man. Cause that generation where they think they're gonna put the icing on the cherry on top by implementing this digital system, man. They think they're gonna be able to eat, but that's not gonna be the case. Lord, we'll talk about how they're gonna the unrighteous bed gonna be rooted out. But it's just going back to the point, this devil being exposed. The Lord is exposing this man. And the next step is him being overthrown. But all eyes on E. And the only thing this nigga could do is react in violence. And that's why the article said that solution is not to send you to a Holocaust museum. No, the nigga's gonna apprehend you. But that's just the reaction of a wounded animal that's trapped. Cause this devil's one of his strengths was, secrecy and deception, being in the dark. But now that's over, man. So yeah, I hope this will edify. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachai, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect that teach word in all true faith and sincerity. Shalom.